My name is Chad Sabora. I'm a recovering heroin addict. We are here in North St. Louis, North City, at the corner of Grand and Broadway. What we refer to in this area, we call the Dopeset. This is where almost everything is happening in St. Louis. And a few things to explain. First off, heroin addicts, drug addicts in general, we're almost like vampires. We can sense our own kind. We see them in a room. There's something different about us, and we know it. We come down to an area like this, and it's like home to us. Everything we want is here. We see somebody driving down the street, we know they're just like us, and they're down here for the same reason. And St. Louis is not special. Every city in America has this area, and people driving by, normal people, they're gonna drive by and they're gonna look over and see a few dilapidated buildings, maybe some hotels, and they're not gonna think twice. To us, we know what's here, and this is why we come here. The point of us being here today, not only to bring awareness to this part of the city and to hand out some information, is to show this video of what exactly is going on down here. We're going to start here at the corner of Grand and Broadway, which is a very hot spot. We're also going to go down to Halls Road. What a lot of people feel about Halls Road is that it represents drag racing, late night Friday nights in St. Louis. That's not the case for addicts. Halls Road represents what we call a shooting gallery. It's where we bang dope. After we meet our dealers or pick something up, there's a few spots down there we're going to show you, and that's where everything's happening. Like I stated in an earlier video, St. Louis doesn't have a big open-air drug market like other cities do, but there is one, and we're going to go there today also. We're also going to go to this hotel today where we pulled somebody out a few months ago that needed help and got them into some detox, and now they're heading to the East Coast for rehab. So that's the basic point of what we're here today. Again, my name is Chad Sabora. This is the Western Inn. We are right off of Grand and Broadway, where we just were talking about what's going on in North City. There's no secret down here as to what goes on at this motel. This is a dope motel. You know, you've seen it in the movies and on television, and they almost glamorize it sometimes, but what goes on in there is just pure misery. We come down here, if we have a bit of extra money, you know, I've done it, many people else have done it, you get a room for a day or two, you're closer to the dealer, it's a little bit safer, and that's where everything is happening. Not everything, but a lot of our sickness and disease happens in that room. People know what's going on down here about that hotel. Cops know. They do monitor this area a little bit better than some, but there's such a wide variety of dealers all over North City that we're going to go hit a few spots today that it's impossible for them to keep track of everything, but they do it over here. Now, as I talked about before, you know, with the lack of funding for detox and rehabs, you know, people have nowhere to go. It was about a month ago, and there was this young kid, 18-year-old girl, who contacted me because of the work we do out here. She was able to find us, who wanted help. Like many of us, no money. Parents had cut her off, no insurance, but she was dying. She was living in that hotel killing herself, because all heroin addiction is a very, very slow, painful suicide. I still remember the night. It was a very late night on a Saturday night. We came here at about 2 in the morning. We got her out of that motel. We took her to a hospital not that far away that's kind of friendly to the things we do, and got her on a hold to help her get off the dope. Currently, last I talked to her, she had gotten a state bed on the East Coast for rehab. So, you know, that is one, what's the word I'm looking for? Story of hope, I guess, that one girl got out of here. But for every person that gets out, there's so many people that never get in contact with anybody. They never get any help. They never get a chance to get off this stuff. Because believe me, when you get to the end of what we call runs, when you're banging dope and living this life, you want help, you want out. We just have nowhere to go. And a lot of those people right now are in misery in that hotel right behind us. Yeah, we are on the corner of West Florissant and DeSoto in North City, St. Louis. This is it. This is one of the biggest dope sets in St. Louis. I talked a few weeks ago about the reason for a lot of ODs, and I'm going to go into that just for a little bit. Usually have 1 or 2, maybe 3 dealers that you go to regularly. It's pretty consistent. Everything is you know, pretty safe. But there comes a point when they get arrested, they're out of the stuff, or you're in a complete state of desperation. That's when you come to these areas. These are what are referred to as open-air drug markets. There's people standing on the corners selling drugs. And we are coming down here. I've done it Many people have done it. My friend that's going to speak to has done it, and we are so sick and desperate for relief that we have no idea who these people are. We pull up, we give them our money, they come back a few minutes later. I mean, we're partying with $100 on an act of good faith because that's how sick it is. And then they come back and they give us our gear. It's what we call dope. And then we pull off to the side of the road somewhere, and we are injecting stuff that we have no idea what it is. We don't know who's cutting it. We don't know where it's coming from. And, you know, that's causing a lot of people to die down here. And while we were out rallying, you know, there was a lot of people, and we saw, because like I said, we know our own kind, that were almost stopping and smirking at us. And you know, that's this sickness, that's this disease. Because a year, 2 years ago, that was me. I would have seen what we're doing, and I would have just been just like, you guys are idiots. But you know what, now that I have some clarity in my pocket, you know, I can see the truth. And you know, hopefully they can too. I mean, I'll go into a little more of the sickness. You know, there's a Facebook group, and it's called "We Carry a Spoon in Our Pocket Just in Case Somebody Has Heroin." There's thousands, 30,000 likes on this page. You know, and that's the truth. You know, we're very, very sick people, spiritually, in the head, and everything. And one thing I want to talk about is, you know, how we see the world again when we're down here. You know, like I said, we see everything different. I will drive down this street right here. I will make eye contact with somebody for about 1 second. And that brief feeling I get from them, from the way they look at me and the way I look at him or her, that's going to define our relationship. That's my dealer. And it's so sick and twisted, but it's the truth.
My name is Mike. I'm an ex-addict. Right now, as Chad just said, we're at the corner of West Florissant and DeSoto. This was one of the places I always came to get dope. This was a good place to come to comp, find people that I've never seen before in my life, but still I'd go and buy drugs from them. There was one night I remember I was particularly ill, and in a carload of other people that were particularly ill. And we came down here to get something, and we were parked on a corner. We had already given somebody our money in the hopes that they'd come back, and we heard 2 shotgun blasts. We saw people running all directions. The first thought in any one of our heads was, well, we can't go anywhere. This is, our dope is coming. So we sat there, and eventually we got our drugs and we got out of there. That's sick. If somebody hears a shotgun blast, their first thought should be self-preservation, but instead our first thought was, I don't want to be sick tonight, so I'll wait. I'll take my chances. And yeah, honestly, I'm a little bit more nervous being down here right now than I was when I was buying dope. Gives you a certain level of clarity being clean. I look around at this place right now, and it's fairly terrifying. It's just not a good area, but that doesn't faze you at all. It's just the mindset that you're in when you're on drugs.
We are here at Christie's Fuel on Halls, or is it Ferry? Halls. This, as I said before, this whole strip down Halls, Friday nights, Saturday nights in St. Louis, it's known for drag racing. Everybody comes out, check out the cars, but this whole strip is something completely different if you're a drug addict. This is the shooting gallery. Christie's is almost, you know, it's like the safe spot. You know, on our way to get the dope, on our way back, we always stop here. The bathroom in Christie's is just well known as places where we bang dope. That payphone right there, the cops refer to it as the dope phone. Because by the end of our run, we've pawned everything. We have no cell phone, no nothing. We're relying strictly on payphones. So what we do is we get down here, we park, and we hop on that phone to call our man. And you know, cops see us on that phone, they know what's going on. People do know what's going on in this area. Up the road a little bit, it's pick and pull. You know, a lot of people think that's where we go to get car parts and things. No, that's where we go for a safe place to shoot up. Kind of ironic, just, you know, a couple hundred feet that way is the medium security workhouse, because you stay in this life long enough hanging out down here, that's where you're headed. That's where I was headed, that's where a lot of people were headed. As you head up down Halls, you're going to go through New Baden and to Baden, and there's Riverside Circle and Jennings Station. That is where a lot of the dope is coming in from Chicago. It's getting spun, as we say, put into what are buttons or beans, which are the little capsules people are buying, and that is put out on the streets. This place just represents a lot to addicts. If you are a heroin addict in St. Louis, have been, you know this area, you know it all too well. This is the first time I've been down here since I've been clean. We're going on 15 months driving down this road, and even my buddy Mike, we were talking in the car. I mean, this is just a sickening feeling, almost bringing back pain and memories, because you know these places used to represent where I lived. you know, in my head, in my body, everywhere. I mean, this was me. Now that I come back, you know, this much time later, it represents everything miserable and horrible that I did to myself in addiction. And it's, you know, it's not a place that I want to visit regularly, and I won't. But for the purposes of this video and to bring awareness, we needed to see this and to let people know, just like we did at the other spots, of what's going on. You know, and as I said, you know, part of the reason for the rallies and the awareness that we're doing is going to be because we just want to get the word out there, get the message. And before we close, because we're not going to hit any more spots, out of respect for people's privacy and my life, we're not going to show any houses or anything, but all back behind there, that's it. You know, that's where, not just the area we just were. This is another spot. A little safer down here, though, than we were before. You know, if anyone is watching these and wants to get involved, it's very easy to contact me. We're all over Facebook. We have a huge event coming up in September. It's a Saturday night, September 15th, on the Grand Staircase of the Arch from 6 to 9 p.m. We have speakers from all over Missouri, mayors of different cities, prosecutors. Myself will be speaking. A mother who lost her child will be speaking. A clinical therapist will be speaking. And there's going to be resources for everybody that has been affected by heroin.
All right, at Christie's Fuel, this was a spot that was not necessarily a place that we would come to meet our dope dealers. It was kind of a middle of the road spot, if that makes any sense. It's a place that the dealers would send us because oftentimes we'd have to wait till they were good and ready. We'd sit in parking lots like this for half hour, 45 minutes, as long as 2 hours until they called or drove through, and then we'd follow them elsewhere. This is a fairly main street, Hall Street, and we'd follow them out. We would follow them down the road and they'd do the hand-to-hand right there. But this is a place that any day you'll see lots of people standing around, waiting around, sitting in their cars, doing whatever they can to kill time while they wait for their dope dealer to show up. That's basically what this spot is for. Rarely do you ever see an actual meet go down here. This is a wait spot. This is where you wait for your guy, and that's what you'll always see happening here and at the payphones and at the pick and pull and anywhere else around here. This is also a place that's frequented by the Jump Out Boys. We were talking about them earlier. They're undercover police officers, plain clothes. They'd be in any kind of car. They drive their own vehicles. They could have Illinois plate. They could have, you can't pick them out. They look like anybody else, male, female, and you could just be sitting here and all of a sudden you're surrounded by 4 cops with guns in your face. That's just part of the danger that goes on here. The other thing is you get robbed often. I mean, people get robbed all the time at this particular spot because, you know, people know that there's a lot of people sitting out here with money in pocket or in hand, and a lot of money that flows through here, so it makes it ideal for robbery, police involvement, and drug dealing.